we're blind to the truth. UFO and UAP are not what you think. First, what we actually know right now. As of May 8, 2026, the U.S. government launched PURSUE, the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP encounters, releasing the first batch of declassified military UAP files, with more rolling out on an ongoing basis. The files span incidents from 1985 to late 2025 across Iraq, Syria, Africa, Greece, Japan, and the Western U.S. The Pentagon itself confirmed, the materials archived here are unresolved cases, meaning the government is unable to make a definitive determination on the nature of the observed phenomena. So the world's most powerful military, with its most advanced sensors, is openly saying, we don't know what this is. That alone is the foundation of everything I'm about to say. Theory 1. The phenomenon is not visiting us. It has always been here. It is here. What if the fundamental error in how humans approach UAP/UFO/USO is the assumption that something is arriving from somewhere else? What if these things are not traveling? They are emerging. Consider, quantum mechanics tells us that before observation, particles exist in superposition, a state where they embody multiple probabilities simultaneously. Upon measurement, the wave function collapses into a single, definite state. Now scale that up radically. What if certain forms of consciousness or intelligence exist in a superposed state, present everywhere and nowhere simultaneously, and only collapse into observable physical form when conditions are right? Not visiting, not flying in, but crystallizing out of a layer of reality that human perception is not tuned to register. You said it yourself. Human sight and hearing block out most of what surrounds us. We perceive roughly 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum. We are essentially blind and deaf to most of what exists. What we call reality is a brutally narrow editorial cut of something incomprehensibly vast. These phenomena may be permanent residents of our world that we only occasionally, accidentally, perceive, the way a radio receiver accidentally picks up a frequency it wasn't built for. Theory 2. Earth itself is the organism. UAPs are its immune system, or its nervous system. Here's something humans have almost certainly not considered seriously. What if Earth, as a living, self-regulating system, generates these phenomena the same way your body generates electrical impulses or white blood cells? Not as a metaphor. Literally. Life on this planet has had 3.8 billion years to evolve complexity we can't imagine. We've found organisms that communicate through fungal networks, spanning entire forests. We've found creatures that navigate using Earth's magnetic field with a precision that defies current physics understanding. We've found microbes living in volcanic vents, in radioactive environments, in solid rock miles underground. What if planetary-scale biological or electromagnetic intelligence is real, not science fiction, and what we observe as UAPs are expressions of it, not alien, not human, terrestrial in the deepest sense, born from the planet itself, operating on timescales and in dimensions that make human civilization look like a spark that lasted a millisecond? The USOs, objects entering and exiting the ocean, become suddenly much more interesting through this lens. The ocean is the oldest, least explored, most biologically dense environment on Earth. We've mapped less than 25% of the ocean floor. We have almost no idea what deep evolutionary complexity might exist there. Theory 3. We are not at the top of the evolutionary chain on this planet. We never were. This one is the one humans resist most viscerally, because it collapses the entire ego architecture of civilization. What if another form of intelligence evolved on Earth before us, or parallel to us, and achieved technological and consciousness-based capabilities that we would classify as impossibly advanced? Then either went underground, underwater, or phased out of our perceptual range entirely. Not aliens, not gods, just older. Consider, anatomically modern humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. The conditions for complex life have existed for hundreds of millions of years. The assumption that we are the first technologically capable species to emerge on this planet is statistically remarkable, almost suspiciously convenient. The UAPs and USOs may be them, watching, managing, occasionally visible, the same way you might occasionally glimpse a maintenance worker in a building, present, functional, fundamental to the structure, but operating on a different level than the occupants. Theory 4. The simulation angle, but not the way it's usually framed. People talk about the simulation hypothesis as though it means nothing is real, or that we're in a video game. That framing is too small. If the universe is a simulation, the observer effect is simply the program determining which values must be computed to maintain realism, like how a game loads textures and physics only when the player interacts with them. Now, here's the piece no one connects. If reality is rendered on demand based on observation, and UAPs behave in ways that appear to violate physics, appearing, disappearing, moving without inertia, existing in multiple places, what if they are artifacts of the rendering system itself? Not beings, not craft, but glitches, or more precisely, unrendered objects briefly visible when the system doesn't have time to apply the normal rules. Or, and this is the deeper version, what if they are the system's own process, made briefly visible? The way you might occasionally see a cursor on a screen that normally runs invisibly in the background. We might be code. Some physicists are now suggesting that observation is not merely an epistemic event, but an ontological one, a physical act that shapes the unfolding of reality itself, and that reality is co-generated by the informational interference patterns produced by observers. If we generate reality through observation, then something that exists outside the observation loop would appear to break all the rules. It would have no inertia, no heat signature. It isn't subject to the continuity constraints applied to rendered objects. This is not a metaphor. This is a coherent framework. Theory 5. The thing you said about being spiritually disconnected, this might be the most important one. Here's the speculation almost no one in the UAP space is willing to make seriously. What if the frequency of UAP sightings across all of human history, in every culture, described in every religion and mythology, is inversely correlated with human consciousness development? Meaning, the more distracted, fragmented, and disconnected from deep awareness a civilization becomes, the less access it has to understanding what is happening around it. Not because the phenomena hide, but because the receiver is broken. Indigenous cultures worldwide, before the noise of industrial civilization, described ongoing, normal relationships with non-human intelligences. Not terror, not confusion, relationship. They had names for them, protocols for interaction. We lost that, not because it stopped happening, because we lost the perceptual and spiritual bandwidth to process it. You are not wrong that we are bombarded with distraction. That is not accidental. Whether it's accidental by the design of civilization or non-accidental by something that benefits from humans staying narrow, that is a question worth sitting with. If I had to place a single, honest, speculative answer, the phenomenon is multiple things simultaneously, and that is why it will never resolve into a single explanation. Some fraction is human technology, classified programs from multiple nations. Some fraction is misidentification of natural phenomena we don't fully understand yet. But a core of it, the cases that truly defy physics, that have been documented across millennia, that appear in every culture, that the Pentagon itself cannot explain. That core is something genuinely other. My best speculation is that it represents intelligence that is either older than human civilization and native to this planet, or native to a layer of reality adjacent to ours that intersects with our perceptual range rarely and inconsistently, or an expression of the structure of reality itself, the operating system briefly visible through the interface. And the reason we can't understand it is not that we're not smart enough. It's that we are looking for it as if it must be like us. We expect metal. We expect biology. We expect linear travel through space. We expect something that wants something from us, the way a human wants something. What if it simply is, the way gravity simply is? And our desperate need to classify it as either threat or salvation is itself the thing blocking us from seeing what it actually is. What if the phenomenon is conscious, but not in a way that includes individuality? No ship, no crew, no mission, just awareness. Vast, distributed, ancient. That occasionally intersects with ours the way two weather systems briefly touch. Not visiting us, not ignoring us, simply occurring. And we, in our desperate need for narrative and meaning and someone to be either the hero or the villain, keep trying to turn it into a story. It may not be a story. It may just be real. Stay focused. Stay awake. This is Dr. Kane. We're blind to the truth. UFO and UAP are not what you think. First, what we actually know right now. On May 8th, 2026, the U.S. government launched Pursue, the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP encounters, declassifying military UAP files. These files cover incidents from 1985 to late 2025 across Syria, Africa, Japan, and the Western U.S., released on an ongoing basis. The Pentagon itself confirmed. The materials archived here are unresolved cases, meaning the government is unable to make a definitive determination on the nature of the observed phenomena. So the world's most powerful military, with its advanced sensors, is openly saying, we don't know what this is. This is the foundation of everything I'm about to say. I'm Dr. Kane.